Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. With that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsor. Pumpkin Spice, an all-new take on a classic chai. Robust and seasonal with organic black tea, ginger, nutmeg, allspice, and real pumpkin. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. All right, thank you all so much for watching. Again, shout out The Brothers Apothecary. Make sure to click the link below and go check them out. I guarantee you're going to like it. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Heavensent.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us.
How's it going?
Oh, you know, just living the dream. Let's go ahead and get on into it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, you know, where you're from, what you do, give us that like Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
Sure, man. Well, I do hip hop and rock and roll. I record music for a bunch of local artists in Vancouver and Portland. I DJ for weddings. I work for a record label. I do a bunch of stuff.
Oh, you're all about the music.
Yeah, dude. I'm also a performer and a guitar player, and you know, do my own original music as well.
Oh, I love that. So what got you into music originally? How did you start?
I got my first guitar when I was 8.
Okay.
I got it for Christmas.
Nice.
And yeah, my whole family was very musical. My brother played drums. My other brother played bass.
Oh.
And yeah, my dad taught me how to play guitar, and I had a bunch of opportunities to go and perform live and play at churches and that kind of thing.
Hell yeah. Oh, yeah, I love that.
At a very young age.
I mean, you were basically the Partridge Family.
Yeah, you could say that.
That's awesome. And I think it's interesting. So were you the last one to get an instrument?
No, I think we all had a piano to begin with. We all kind of shared the piano.
Okay. But more, I mean, like, because you said, you know, one of your brothers was a drummer, one of your brothers was a bass player, and then you did guitar. Like, did it go in that order of who got the individual instruments, or did you all get them at the same time?
I can't remember. I don't remember who got one first, but I do remember one day when my parents got their tax return, or they got some big windfall or some money. They bought us all new instruments on the same day.
Oh, damn.
So we got
damn. Whoa. Shout out to your parents.
Yeah,
they were clearly. And you said your dad plays guitar as well?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
What about your mom?
My mom's a really good singer.
Oh, so yeah, y'all were just in it.
Yeah, dude. My parents they went on tour with this choir group.
Okay.
They sang at churches all over the world and stuff. And it's been part of my family from a very young age. My Uncle Mark plays piano like a wild animal. And
yeah, so you really had no chance. You were a second generation musician in a household that is very musical.
That's right, man.
Hell yeah. Well, it's cool to see that you're doing a lot with it. And I guess I'm very curious to know then, given how musical your household was, what was some of the earliest music you remember hearing?
Journey, Def Leppard, Wild Cherry, Cars, The Styx. Classic rock.
Hell yeah.
Classic rock.
Hell yeah, race on all the good stuff.
Yeah.
I dig that. I dig that for sure.
That stuff, man.
And then the next couple questions, these are ones that we check in with everybody on. They're pretty foundation questions, but this first one, we ask it early, we ask it often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
Dude, I can't remember, honestly. I've been thinking a lot about this question. I think it was The Beautiful Letdown by Switchfoot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting answer.
I either got that one for Christmas or my birthday or something. Another one could have been 1,000 Foot Crutch, Phenomenon. Another one could have been, it might have been Hybrid Theory by
Okay.
Mark.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, all really good answers. So if
Good
those are,
albums.
if that's your early choices of music, you are clearly in the right direction.
Yeah, dude.
And then that definitely makes me curious to know then, what was the first live show you went to? That was like one that you wanted to go to. So you saw it was happening, you got tickets and you went to it.
It was As I Lay Dying
Oh, hell yeah.
at the Hawthorne Theater.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I think Amur
Okay.
was
Yeah.
on that same lineup. I can't remember. I think they opened, and that was the first time I'd ever even heard of Amur. I remember that mosh pit was insane, dude.
You know what? Just because this is connected, I try not to tell this on every episode because I've definitely shared it a few times. But the first live show I ever went to was Ozfest 2005 up in Seattle.
That's right. I heard you talking about that.
And the first act I saw when I got there was a band I had never heard of called As I Lay Dying.
As I Lay Dying.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah, literally. They were, because I missed Arch Enemy and I was bummed about it for some reason. And then they were playing on the stage after, and I was like, these guys are wild.
Dude, their live show was dope.
Oh, the fact that the drummer actually did the crazy headspin thing while playing, like I thought that was just a bit in the music videos, but there he was just actually going for it. It blew my
I
mind.
don't remember seeing that.
Yeah, because he had like hair down to here and he would just,
Oh, the windmill.
wow, like,
Yeah.
dude, it was nuts. It was nuts. I was like, I didn't even know drummers were allowed to do that.
I remember seeing him at Warped Tour years later. That was dope.
Yeah, they are a super solid band for sure.
Yeah, they put on a great show. That was some of the first songs I learned how to play on guitar was As I Lay Dying.
Oh, hell yeah.
The Truth.
Yep. I mean, they are just a really solid group. It took me so long to find out that they were a Christian band. That blew my mind a little bit.
That was the only music I was allowed to go see when I was younger.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. See,
Yeah.
I was confused when I found out because they played like 2 acts before Rob Zombie, who is just a little bit not Christian.
Yeah.
Just a smidge on the not Christian side. So, but that's awesome. That's a solid first show. I mean, I'm sure you'd seen ones before, but that's like a solid live experience to pick to go to for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to be in a mosh pit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I just want to see a circle pit and a wall of death. Like, if that's actually a thing, I want to be a part of it. So
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And then before we move into more current day stuff, do you have a defining moment where you decided you wanted to take music more seriously?
yeah, I think I joined a band when I was 11.
Okay.
I started my own band because my older brothers, they're twins. They wouldn't let me in their band.
Come on, guys.
But after they heard me playing As I Lay Dying and getting real good at these guitar licks, they decided we need a lead guitarist, and Austin's killing it over here. We got to get him in the band. And so I joined the band. We played for like 5 years. We got signed to a record label. We played shows all over town. And the band broke up, but I got back in touch with the record label.
Okay.
And I was like, I want to keep doing this. You know, my older brothers were like getting married and getting jobs and having kids and looking
gross.
kind of settling
I'm
down
kidding,
in life,
kidding.
you know? Yeah, gross, right? And so I talked to Dave Beatty, who's the owner of the record label, and I said, hey man, band's not working out, but I really want to keep doing this. You know, and he was like, okay, well, I got this DJ company, you know, and I got the record label. He said, if you really want to make a career out of this, pick something that pick your secondary weapon, like we were talking about, you know, pick something that you can provide value on the back end and get paid for. Maybe it's not your end game. Maybe it's not something you're super passionate about.
You don't love DJing weddings?
It's fun, man. I do love it, you know, but ultimately I want to travel the world and perform and do that whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I think, that's actually a really interesting approach that I haven't really heard anybody mention for. Like, when your stuff doesn't work out, like usually that's like, oh man, now I don't have a band to be on a label with. You were like, hey, label, put me somewhere else.
Yeah,
like,
what can I do?
You know, I can do. That's actually really smart.
That was the defining moment. That was when I decided, like, okay, I'm getting older. Like, I was 20 years old. I wasn't getting older, but
well, I mean, you know, you're getting older every day, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not getting any younger.
Yeah. But damn, that, like I said, that's super smart. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure,
that is
man.
a useful tip for anybody watching. That's a good way to go about it. But now let's go ahead and let's talk about you in the current day. And we're going to get a super easy one out of the way. How'd you pick the name?
The name Heavensent?
Mm-hmm.
It has to do with my religious background and kind of wanting to inspire the world the same way Jesus did, you know, but the way he really did it and not the way that a lot of these churches are setting it up to look like he did. You know? I feel like people in religion do a good job of doing good in the world, you know, especially in the background I grew up with Christians and churches and everything. It's a lot of really judgmental people, you know, and so I've always felt like the Jesus of the music industry, you know.
Okay.
I'm not conceited or anything, but I just want to help people get their art out there and yeah.
Yeah, you know. No, I mean, we won't speak on the forward motions of religion in general because that's not the topic of this episode.
Sure, yeah.
I hear what you're saying.
Right.
But let's go ahead and move on to your writing style. And we're going to break it up into chunks, but we're going to start right at the beginning. When you get inspired, you're ready to make music. What are some of the things you do to get a track started?
I usually write them in my head in the car.
Okay.
When I'm driving.
And are you somebody who writes music like, you know, like E to F major to G in your head, or do you just hear a melody?
I usually start with a catchy hook. I always make up little things, you know, to get through the day. Like I'm going to an address, 5842, you know, hippie, gay, horny dude.
Okay, okay.
Come up with rhyme schemes to you know. And so usually I'll pick something like that out and I'll put a melody to it. And if it's really catchy, then I'll start hearing the guitar in my head and going, okay, you know, this is a chord progression that could work with that. This is how the melodies are talking to each other, you know. And then sometimes I have to pull over and write it down. You know?
Okay. Yeah, no, I get that for sure.
Yeah.
And your music is so diverse. You have a lot of different sounds in your music. I mean, it's not just, you know, it's not just rock, it's not just rap, it's not just like, there are a handful of things happening all the time.
Yeah.
So given that there's such a big variety, I guess, like, and yeah, this next question is still part of the format. We'll touch on other stuff in a little bit, but given that there's so much, like it can't just be like the easiest thing to memorize like it is when you're doing just one genre with one cadence. How long does it usually take you to get comfortable to perform? Like, I'm going to expand a little bit, multiple tracks that you've written recently.
It takes a while. It takes a while because I produce for other artists, you know, and I'm doing a lot of work for other people. And so a lot of times I just don't really find time. It's hard to find time to get to my own music and practice it and get it to a level where I'm comfortable with it, you know. But I would say I'll write a song and like from recording it to performing it, I would say I need like one of my own original songs with guitar and everything and the whole thing, I would need like a month to practice it. Okay.
Which, I mean, that seems like a pretty reasonable amount of time. I always think it's crazy when people are like, I could do it that day. I'm like, you've got a much more elastic mind than me. That always blows my mind when someone's like, same day, I'm good to go. I'm like,
how I've done it.
I could never.
A lot of my features that I do where I'm just rapping or I'm just sitting on someone's track, you know, we'll record it and go play it the same day. Like me and Nosy just performed a song yesterday.
Oh yeah, shout out Nosy.
Yeah, dude, love that guy. He's a legend. Every interaction I've had with him has been phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
But we wrote a song, recorded it a couple weeks ago, performed it on the street yesterday, totally fucked it up. It was awful. Forgot every word.
Hey, sometimes that's how it goes. Sometimes you just have to be like, I decided to freestyle.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so you just got to let it happen sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then before we move into a little bit more of like the focus on your sounds, and we'll definitely touch on some of the production stuff in a moment as well.
Sure.
But looking back on just the last year, so we're going to say all of 2023, in that time, how did your like music writing process change?
Well, it was, you know, just in the last year.
Yeah.
In the last year, I would say, you know, I've become a lot more spontaneous with it. A lot of times when I'm doing a feature, I'll write something on the spot and record it.
Okay.
While I'm at the studio.
So you're just leaning into like freestyling more even.
Yeah, I've never, I mean, I've freestyled. I freestyled a song for Third Eye Goonies not long ago.
Okay. Hey, shout out Third Eye Goonies.
Yeah, I love the Goonies, man.
Hell yeah.
And put that one, I think that one's coming out. I think that one will be coming out. But that's the only song I've ever freestyled and stuck with it, you know. But now another thing I started doing recently was get in the booth, freestyle, do 6 or 7 takes of freestyle, and then pick and pull pieces from it.
Oh, okay. And then build it and then go in and do the finished version.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And that's helpful because sometimes you get on you get something good going when you're freestyling, but then you're not able to like keep up with it quick enough.
Yeah, you lose the steam, or it takes you a little while to get into it.
Yeah, so you can go back and flesh out those ideas where you're like, this is where I was going for, you know, and you can kind of like, you can't do that on a freestyle. You know?
No, you have to really like, you have to be dialed for the whole take.
You got to nail it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I guess that's kind of a good hybrid of the two of them.
Yeah.
But also, like I said, your sound is so diverse. I mean, you've definitely got the rock, you've got rap, you've got electronic, you've got clean sounds, and then a myriad of other things, and definitely a solid guitar tone. So I think it's interesting that you perform mainly with you and not with like a full band or anything like that.
I would love to have a band.
Man, they are hard to come by, especially now. But looking at your more recent music, because your last album was out in 2022, it was Tranquil Tantrum.
That's right.
Fun name. That one, like, I read it and I was like, yeah,
cool.
I dig that.
Thanks.
And you've got a ton of solid features on there. I mean, you've got Louis B, you got Suntavo, and you got a bunch of them actually for like, and they were all diverse.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool that it wasn't just like one sound, even if it was different features.
Yeah.
And like, if I had to pick one, Rhododendron, that track, it was like Middle Eastern electronic rap. Like it just had this bizarre cadence to it that just every single part of it grabbed you immediately.
That's a crowd pleaser, man. Everyone loves that song.
I can believe it. And also I had a special soft spot for Thanks. That one that one just kind of hit me.
I love that song.
Yeah, just really, like, the whole time I was listening to it, I was like, huh, this feels very, very real.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, it felt kind of, it felt loose. It felt musical, and I really enjoyed that. But I'm curious to know, what is your favorite song to perform?
It's either Rhododendron or Ferrari.
Okay, Ferrari's a fun one too.
Yeah, that one's tight, man.
Yeah.
Ferrari's fun to perform because the crowd knows it.
Yep.
You know, light me up one of them cigarettes. Everyone loves that line, and it's fun to play my guitar, but I also love performing Rhododendron because I can put the guitar down, engage with the crowd more.
Yeah.
And that one's real easy for the crowd to catch on to as well. Rhododendron, Rhododendron.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a solid hook. It's one word.
Yep.
You know, everybody sings it.
It's a girthy word, but it is definitely just one.
That's right.
But no, those are, two solid tracks for sure.
Yeah.
And like I said, now, before we move on to kind of the focus on the music, let's talk on engineering and production a little bit.
Sure. Yeah.
I imagine you produce all your own music.
I do.
How do you separate yourself as the artist from yourself as the engineer when it comes to working on your own music? Because it's tough. At least I found it to be tough when I did it for my own.
It is, man. When you're in the booth and you're rapping, and you're thinking about how you're going to EQ it while you're trying to rap.
Yep.
It's hard to be in both bags at once, you know?
Yeah.
That's why I like going to the studio with Tavo sometimes and just forget about all the engineering stuff and just be creative, you know?
Oh, yeah. Also, shout out Suntavo.
Suntavo, dude. That's my guy.
Yeah.
He has no idea how much I look up to him and appreciate him. I mean, he kind of knows. I tell him all the time.
He only knows when I tell him every day.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, as far as engineering goes and producing, it's hard to do both, you know, and you know, I just try to just do it the same way I would do another artist, you know, and just do multiple takes of whatever instrument I'm recording and then, you know, compile them together and yeah, I like to start with the music, you know, get all the music laid down first and all the instruments and stuff, and then move on to vocals, you know, and just kind of compartmentalize in your mind along the way.
Yeah.
What you're doing, what you're working on. Okay, now I'm going to do guitar. Now I'm going to do drums. Now I'm going to do bass. And then I'm just going to put it to bed and be okay with it. you can nitpick stuff to death. And
man, I tell you, and I try not to break my own walls on this one, but when it came to like first figuring out how to make the audio sound for this show, there were so many nights where it'd be like 1, 2 in the morning, because I, do this at the end of every day, where I just have to be like, you know what? It's just going to sound different.
Yeah.
It's not going to sound better. And that's like the hardest thing to learn as like an early music person in general.
Yeah.
Is you can keep nitpicking things, and eventually you'll nitpick the good idea out of the good idea.
That's right, man.
Yeah. So sometimes just saying yes to a sound and then letting it breathe for a while and hearing the result after it's done is like kind of the biggest thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah. And then when you're working with other people, how do you separate out like the desire to want to be the musician in it? Like, do you let them call the shots? Do you try to like interject? Like what is your bedside manner like in that respect?
It is tough sometimes, to stand behind the DJ table and watch everybody else doing what I really want to do.
Yeah.
There's a sense of, there's a lot of emotions that come along with it. And me and Louis B have gotten into arguments. We're homies. We've been homies since day one,
Also, shout out Louis B. I don't know if I said it early already.
Yeah, shout out Louis B, man. That's my guy. That's my day one, man.
Hell yeah.
We've been doing it together for a long time. And so naturally, we've butted heads along the way. But, to have empathy and to put yourself in the other person's shoes and go, okay, this is what I really want to do. This is what they want to do. They love it and adore it just as much as I do, and they need help just as much as I do, and I think if you put that energy out into the universe and you help people and you're able to humble yourself and put yourself in somebody else's shoes and help them get to where they want to be, then you'll have opportunities presented to you along the way where you can do the same thing. I think that's just a natural law of the universe. I think that's how the world works,
Very much so. And I think sometimes being able to, especially when it came to like playing music, like playing instruments, I learned that sometimes learning to play other people's ideas eventually helps you write things that sound more like what they're kind of looking for anyways.
Absolutely.
It lets you put your sound into it.
Yeah.
Like I was really fortunate in my last band, Smooth Talk. My guitar player was willing to play anything.
Yeah.
Like, if I had an idea, I would just hum it out for him, and in 10 seconds he had it figured out.
Yeah.
Every time he would bring an idea to the table, I would try it every time. Even if because he would try every bad idea I had. So even if I thought it was not the best idea, I'd be like, let me give it a go. And then I'd be like, oh shit, if I do 90% of it and just change this one thing, it's super cool.
Yeah.
It still feels like I got to add a part into it, but it's still mostly the other person's idea.
Yeah.
So you never know when somebody's going to have a cool idea because they think how you sound. You know what I mean? Like when they're thinking of something for you to do, they want it to sound cool when you do it because they think you could do it well.
Right.
And like you said, when you put it out there, sometimes it comes back tenfold because then suddenly somebody's like, hey, I hear what you're doing. I have a thing that I could do with this. And you're like, that's so good. And then and everybody wins.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And now getting back into more of the music focus for a moment, because, I could talk engineering forever, and I'm sure you could as well.
Yeah.
But I want to take a step back because, we've talked about your favorite song to perform of your own, but looking at music as a whole, what are some of the things about new music that you really enjoy?
About new, there's always I'm always looking for something really specific in the music that makes it to my playlists that I just listen to casually, which I don't do often. I got a new car recently. My stereo doesn't work in it.
Oh no!
And I've had it for almost a year now, and I haven't bothered to fix the stereo because I just work on music all day. And so,
that's fair. So I guess you hear it. So, but I mean, I guess then let's say looking at a lot of the people you record for then, because that is literally the newest music.
Sure, yeah.
That is music that hasn't even come out yet. It's so new.
Yeah.
And what are some of the things you're hearing about like artists that you're working with right now that you're really enjoying?
Just I'm looking for, my ear is like yearning for something that the crowd would just want to turn up to. Something that'll get people jumping.
Yeah.
Momentum's got this new song, Twerk, coming out. And the hook is like, I'm not going to spoil it, but like,
quick, we're going to play it now.
Like just that hype energy, man. Just something that gets the crowd moving. Like Louis B's song "Go Crazy."
Mm-hmm.
That is a killer crowd.
Oh, that one, yeah, that's a banger for sure.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
when you see him perform it, you suddenly learn why, because he does the 3, 2, 3, 2, 1, go 3, 2. He starts the countdown over numerous times, and so it gives everybody in the room enough time to get on board with it. Serotonin.
Yep.
By Louis B is another great crowd song. Just that beat. Like, yeah, that's what my ear is searching for these days. Just something hype that the crowd can get down to, you know?
Hell yeah. I love that. And then, I guess now we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on. We got so far out of the format for a second that I forgot where we were.
Okay.
This next question is probably the densest question in the interview. Okay. And it'll be the last one to kind of round out this middle portion. But, we've talked a lot about your experiences with music, the actions, the reactions, the things that you're doing with other people, the things that you're doing with yourself. But when it's just you and music one-on-one at its core, what does music give back to you?
It's my therapy, man. It just allows me a space to be myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I feel like I didn't have growing up. I felt like there was expectations all around me.
Yeah.
My dad was a pastor,
mm-hmm.
And I was homeschooled. And so a lot of people expected me to behave a certain way, and I've been suicidal. I've dealt with depression and anxiety and all kinds of horrible things, and music has always been there for me, when people aren't, people are going to hurt you no matter what you do, and that's how the world works, but you can always count on music to be there and be a safe space for me to express myself. I write a lot of songs that I don't put out, that I don't share with anybody.
Yeah.
Because I just need to process emotions and just get it out and be myself and be okay with that,
Yeah. No, recently on another episode, somebody said that they use music as like their own form of journaling.
Yeah, yeah.
And that one really stuck with me. There was something about that. And I feel like that's kind of in the case of the songs that didn't come out, sometimes the creation of music is a way to understand feelings.
Yeah.
Because some of us don't process it out loud the same way.
Uh-huh.
And thank you for sharing that. That's
sure, man.
Intimate answer, but it's like just from our off-camera talks and on camera now, it's very clear that your music exists for you very heavily.
Yeah.
And it's cool that even though it was, more like kind of presented to you as be a part of this in the beginning, you've really taken ownership of it and made it your own.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's like a spiritual gift. It's like magic, I think a lot of people lose sight of that when we're talking about trying to get the most streams or trying to get the, we're the game.
Yeah, exactly.
The contest for everybody, you got to remember,
music is an art.
People. Yeah, you can change lives.
Music is an art. I think we are called artists.
Mm-hmm.
That is the name that we have given ourselves.
Yeah.
And I say this to everybody. I said it to you included before the show started. We don't talk about art like an art anymore.
Yeah.
And that's, hopefully the goal of this show, surprise, mission announcement, is to continue to remind people that the narrative of music especially between musicians and artists should be that it's a constructive thing. It's a creative experience.
Yeah.
And for the amount of good that it does to everybody, it's an opportunity to share that good with everybody.
Yeah.
And there are not many things like that in this world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Robin Williams said it very well. We need doctors, we need scientists, we need, engineers to have things run.
Yeah.
But the reason we live is for art.
For art. That's right, man.
Yeah.
To function in the world and to do capitalism and be a society, we need all these doctors and stuff, but becomes so grueling.
Yeah.
9 to 5 and just working for the man, and you got to have something creative, you know, that you can work on. And that's where people come alive, you know, it's where people come out, you know. At these shows, you meet people who, yo, man, I was going through this, and then I heard your song Delusion about mental illness, and it struck me because of this. And, you know, and I've had people tell me that they felt like killing themselves the day before they came to the studio, and we did something in the studio that talked them out of it, you know?
Yep.
It's real life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like. That's another thing that I get out of music, you know, is it makes me feel like I'm doing something meaningful in the world. You know, I drive for Grubhub, and I'm about to start painting tomorrow, and it's like you make a transaction and you say, all right, here's your McDonald's, you know, have a good day. Like,
yeah, exactly. But to be able to, especially doing music for other people, or like helping people, like engineering has always been one of my favorite experiences in music making, is that opportunity to capture someone's sound and with your shared knowledge and their shared experiences, make a finished thing, like make the song together, even if, life, even if it's not like, even if you didn't do anything as an instrumentalist, even if all you did was hit record and then you throw plugins on, mix it, press it. Yeah. You facilitated that opportunity.
That's right.
Like, I don't think I've ever told this story. I'm going to share one more story before we move on.
Let's go.
Way back when I worked at an undisclosed place, because I technically wasn't allowed to do this, so I can't say where it was, but y'all know.
Word. Yeah.
This guy came in and he was like, I have $200. I need to buy a microphone and an interface. I need to learn how to use all of it. And I was like, well, what are you using it for? And he's like, I wrote this song to propose to my now fiance, and she wants the song to play when we walk down the aisle.
There you go.
And I was like, oh, cool. When's the wedding? He's like, 2 months from now. And I was like, oh, no, friend, I don't know how to tell you this. Do you have any experience? He's like, I've never, ever recorded myself ever. And I was like, tell you what.
Sick.
Keep your $200. Sorry, place that was supposed to be getting sales.
Oh, shit.
Keep your $200. Here is my phone number. Here is my address.
Got you.
Come over to my house where I have a grip of things, and I can even get, this was back when you were able to borrow nice equipment from the place that I worked at.
That's tight.
And so he came over, and the first day we just sat down and went through the song.
Yeah.
This man clearly had never recorded ever. That's so cool. Like on the first day we sat down, and I was like, all right, you're going to have to come back at least 4 more times before we get this knocked out. But I went through the steps with him, got him a little bit tighter on the spots. Finally got a recording of the guitar, sent him home with it, let him practice vocals over it for a little while, had him come back, did the vocals, pressed the song, and gave it to him. And he was able to walk down the aisle they were able to walk down the aisle to the song that he had written to propose to her.
That is killer.
Yeah, man. I mean, even now I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. Like it was just.
I love that, man.
And I mean, it was a beautiful song. I think I have it deep in the ether somewhere. I'll have to find it one day. But it just, man. It was one of those moments where like, that is not something you can just, you can't just pick that out of a hat. Like that is a 1 in a million. Yeah. And just like his response, because it would have never sounded that good otherwise. You know what I mean? Like it would have been nice that he was the one who did it, but like that's your wedding day. You know what I mean? That is supposed to be the one time kind of thing. And so we were able to make it really special. Like he even said that she started like crying, and it was the whole thing. And I was like, I'm sorry about the makeup, but like it was a really beautiful moment.
Yeah, dude. I remember one time recording with my homie Gordo, another guy I've been recording with for a long time. He came to the studio the first day I met him. He was like, yo, my dad just passed away.
Oof.
And he told me with his dying breath that he wanted me to go make music because he knows it's all I've ever wanted to do. And then he was like, and then now it's up to me to record his song. I'm like,
yeah, right. You're like, you think he would have told you that after, but really, no pressure.
Yeah, right.
But no, but those are the moments that, I mean, those are moments that can be the catalyst for so many beautiful things.
Yeah, yeah.
And are just really part of the human experience.
Yeah, I got into music wanting to be a rock star and sing my songs in front of millions of people, and I still want that, and I would love for that to happen, but engineering and producing and helping other people bring their ideas to life has been something that's more fulfilling than I ever thought it would be.
Yeah, very much so. All right. And on that note, let's go ahead and move on to the next portion here.
Sure.
Which are all hypothetical questions.
Here we go.
So we're going to dig into those dreams and those possibilities right now.
Cool.
We're going to start really straightforward. If you could work with any one person, the only requirement is they have to be alive. Who would you want to work with, and how would you want to work with them?
Tim Henson from Polyphia.
Oh, okay.
You listen to Polyphia? You heard him?
I've definitely heard them, yes.
That's like got to be one of my favorite bands right now. And that dude is like the best guitar player I think I've ever seen play, man. I would love for him to just sample him playing for 6 hours.
Yep. Yeah, just let him go forever.
Just let him go. And just make beats out of it and just take those melodies that he comes up with are just beautiful, man. It's like,
oh, he is a master of his instrument.
He's
like hands down, dude. Hands down. Yeah, that would be a great collaboration, especially based off of some of the sounds of your music in general. Like, I think that would be a really cool tie for sure.
That's sick.
Oh yeah. And then subsequently, who's a local artist that you're aware of that you haven't gotten to work with yet, but you would like to?
Anthony Rivera.
Okay, interesting choice.
Dude is one of my biggest inspirations.
Yeah.
Just watching him perform, you can just tell, like, he's been through a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
He's felt a lot of pain. He's real as fuck. He's just laying it all out there and helping people grow based on the experiences he's had, you know? And he's just spreading a positive message on social media. I see him up there all the time, you know, just talking about taking care of yourself and your mental health and being good to yourself and being happy. And it's just one of the realest artists that I've ever met. And his sound too is just, I just dig it.
Hell yeah. Well, everybody, you know what to do. Add them in the comments. Let's see if we can make that happen.
I would love for that to happen, dude.
Hell yeah.
That'd be sick.
And then for this next question, like I said before, sky's kind of the limits, and it's pretty literal in this sense. But if you could perform anywhere in the world, and you wouldn't have to worry about crowd access or building stability or power, it's guaranteed the best lineup, guaranteed the best show, and it doesn't have to be a venue. Like in this scenario, all things would work.
Yeah.
Where would you want to perform?
The moon, bro.
Ah, damn it. See, I got to get you there because, like I said before, sky's the limit. Because sound doesn't travel on the moon.
Oh, it's got to be on Earth, huh?
Yeah.
Shit, man.
Also, the moon too many people have said it. So we're going to go with the second answer.
Dude, I've been thinking about this all week. I was like, that's my answer for sure. Oh, man. All right. Well, I thought maybe like on top of the Space Needle.
Okay.
On top of the Space Needle or something.
Now, would you want to do it like outside on the top, or would you just want to do it in that upper portion of it?
I guess just in the upper portion of it.
Okay.
Yeah. They do live music there, right?
I mean, if they don't, in this scenario, they would. But maybe they do. I actually don't know. Everybody put that in the comments too. Let's find out. Because if so, I want to do an interview there now.
Yeah, and a skyscraper would be fucking lit.
Yeah.
But the moon, dude, that was my first choice. Dude.
Man,
with the low gravity.
Right. But somebody would start, and then they would go too high, and then they would just float away. And you'd be like, no, come back. No, I'm sorry.
Damn, a lot of people have said that already, huh?
Yeah, I mean, like,
the sky is the limit. So
yeah, that's just the running bit, though. The moon is totally an acceptable option. But I mean, like, yeah, it definitely. I mean, one day it'll happen. I mean, Elon's trying to get us to Mars or whatever, right?
That's right. I'll take Mars too.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, as soon as somebody colonizes one of the spaces, or at least it builds sustainable living, we'll definitely get it to be done. We'll do one of the showcases up there, and you can perform there. I'll do an interview there. We'll make it a party.
Sick, dude.
And then to wrap up the hypothetical questions, if you could get one more album from anybody, they could be alive, they could be dead, they could have not put out an album in 100 years, they could put out an album yesterday. Who would you want an album from?
Derek Vincent Smith, aka Pretty Lights. You heard that guy? You know that?
Yes, I've talked about. I don't know people's real names, but I have definitely said him as an answer to this very similar question.
Yeah.
Before, because his music is so good.
He's a legend. He's a genius, man.
At the place that I can't say the name of because I told that story now.
Right.
Hot Like Dimes.
Hot Like Dimes.
That was one track I would use to demo speakers with all the time.
Yeah, dude, that's on my That's on the playlist that I play as like just B-roll or like background music for in between hip hop sets.
Well, there was one time where I was it was a dad and his son was a little bit younger, but his dad was going to buy him studio monitors. So while that track, or I think it was that track, it was one of the tracks off of one of those early EPs. It was playing just for a minute. And like we were talking and his dad was asking cool questions and the kid was asking cool questions. So I was just talking for a moment and then I forgot there's that spot in the song where it goes, fucking you up every time that I drop.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so sorry. And he's just like, it's no big deal. We listen to way worse stuff. I was like, oh, whew.
Yeah.
That could have lost me a job.
Anybody coming to that location that we can't say the name of is probably cool with
they're probably all right with it. And it was when I worked at the first of the two down in California. So they probably wouldn't have been too mad either.
Got you.
Yeah. All right.
Dude, Pretty Lights, man. I like Dimes. Go Down Sunshine is another one of my favorites from him.
Well, I mean, A Color Map to the Sun was incredible. Incredible. The fact that he took musicians, put them in a room, recorded them playing the way that you would record the jams played back in the day, pressed it to vinyl, and then sampled it the way that he makes music. So rather than like go through his process or just record people and cut it up in the computer from there, he pressed it to the way that he would do it normally and then went about his day.
Yeah.
And also learned...
That is so killer, dude.
Yeah. And then learned modular synthesis on top of it.
Yeah.
Just...
That's the sickest way to put a record out. And I don't know, people have done it since, but I'm pretty sure he was like the pioneer of that.
I mean, I'm sure other people have like pressed stuff to records themselves to like sample off of, but definitely not to the extreme that he like went for all of it while simultaneously learning about synths that you have to put together piece by piece by piece and then plug in 1,000 plugs.
Yeah, dude.
What a wild way to just expand all of your boundaries at once.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
That's not something you can, play a melody for and then adjust the synthesizer in post. It's like you're recording off of this synthesizer and it's analog and you better get it right.
Yep, and it's all very organic and ergonomic at the same time, but also just like you turn one thing in the wrong spot and it blows up everything. Like it's such a wild way to do it. That man's mind just doesn't function the same way as other people.
Nah, dude, he's one of my favorites. He's one of my biggest inspirations as far as production goes. Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. What can we look forward to between, let's say, now and October?
A lot of shows, a lot of local shows with Change of Season, Momentum, Louis B., Suntavo, Third Eye Goonies, Matty Puff. Got a remix EP coming out sometime soon where I do hip hop remixes of old school songs. And I got some rock songs I've been working on. I'm gonna be putting out another album after that.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, it's definitely about time after your last one. I was definitely hoping for some more music, so that's exciting.
Dude. It's been too long.
Oh, yeah. And then for this next one, go ahead and look straight at the camera and tell everybody how they can find you.
You can find me on all platforms, on all the streaming platforms under Heavensent, one word. And if you want to find me on Instagram and in the social media platforms, it's usually The Real Heavensent and Heavensent with no vowels. That's The Real HVNSNT. And, or you can go to solo.to/Heavensent, one word, and you can find all my stuff on there.
Hell yeah. And it'll all be on the screen in the magical world of editing and post. So
cool.
If they didn't hear you spell it, they saw how it was spelled.
Sounds good.
Oh yeah. Now we've got one, before we move on to the end, any other plugs or shout outs you'd like to put on while you're on here?
I think I got them all.
I was going to say, you definitely.
Yeah, Third Eye Goonies.
Yeah, hell yeah. Also, shout out Change of Season, because I didn't get to say it during your part right there. And I'm pretty sure Momentum's on the schedule, so shout out Momentum.
Sick, dude. I can't wait.
Even if they're not, we'll have to get them on soon. Momentum, if you aren't already, because I always forget what my schedule looks like until I look at it, message me, but I'm pretty sure you are.
Yeah, get him on here, man. He's a savage.
Hell yeah. All right, now we've got one last question to go. But before we do, I'm going to steal the camera for just a second.
Sure.
As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout out to the Brothers Apothecary. Make sure to click the link below and go check them out. I guarantee you're going to like it. And with that being said, the final question. And this is entirely up to your interpretation. But what is an album you feel is more on the obscure side of things? So it's a deep cut, something not a lot of people would know. but it's one you think everybody should go listen to?
It's I can't remember what that album's called, but there's one. It's Guerrilla Warfare by Gordo.
Okay.
Guy I was telling you about earlier.
Mhm.
Just some. If you're a rock and roll fan, it'll drive you nuts. So it's just some of the most purest rock and roll I think I've ever had the blessing to hear.
Hell yeah.
You know?
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely go check that out for sure. And I'll have to check it out as well. I haven't heard it myself, so I'm very excited. I love when somebody makes a rec that I'm like, ooh, one I haven't heard yet. Let's do it.
Yeah, he's got a single called California. Or I don't think it's a single. I was looking for the album title that song is on. But check that one out too, California by Gordo.
Hell yeah.
It's a banger.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you for the recommendation.
Sure.
All right, but that being said, we're going to go ahead and get up on out of here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah.
This is awesome, dude.
Hell yeah. And this has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Heavensent.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap.
This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.